Hi everybody, give me a second to find this on my computer so I can see what you are seeing. Okay. Thought I was going live in my group, but maybe I am not. If I'm not, I will probably turn this off and go back and try it again. Nope, it looks like I am. Okay. I'm hoping this will soon change itself a little bit so that, yep, I am turning the camera right now on my screen. So, well, no. Is that how I have to do it? I've forgotten so much since I've started filming with my camera, but today my camera decided it's not going to work. I don't know why. I do the exact same thing each time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today it isn't. So I'm filming directly from my phone onto the Facebook Live. So this is where I am. This is where I am monitoring comments. And we get an extra Thursday in the month of March. So we get a bonus playing in the rain card. This is the stamps that we've been featuring this month, playing in the rain. And the good news is the retiring list has been released. This is not on it. This stamp set, playing in the rain, will continue to be available in the new annual catalog. However, the paper, designer series paper that goes with it, is retiring. And I happen to know which colors are retiring. And one of the colors that we'll be using today that is featured in the designer series paper is retiring. Mango Melody. So if you love this color, you don't have it, you want to get your hands on it before it's gone forever. If you already have the ink pad but not the refill, make sure you get a refill because it will not be available after May 1st or 2nd. May 1st, I believe, is the final date. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. You're going to get a sneak peek of the stamp set that will be featured in April. And it is retiring. So if you love it, you might want to get your hands on it soon. But the bundled stamp set and die that will be featuring in April is Willow Tree. We'll be making some great Easter card and Mother's Day stuff for sure. So I'm excited to get to play with this. The dies that go with it are pretty amazing as well. I'm going to put that aside. Okay, we are making a twist and flip card. I have tried to prepare as much as I could ahead of time, but some of the things you need to watch happen so you can create a twist and flip card of your very own. We will be using the Mango Melody paper, This is cut a piece of 8.5 and 11, cut in half vertically to make 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5.5, so that when you fold it in half, it's 4 1/4 by 5.5. This is our card base. I'm going to set it aside for now. I also have a piece of the Rain or Shine Designer Series paper, cut 4 by 5 1/4 for the front, along with a piece cut 2 by 5 1/4, and then a couple of little circles that we have. This is from the Designer Series paper. This I've already stamped and cut out. The layering circles dies are also on the retiring list. So if you need some circle dies, this is a great time to get a hold of those. Now, none of the retiring list is discounted until April 3rd or 4th. I don't know, next week. And at that point, only some of the retiring items will be discounted. So you'll have to pay attention to the online store. You can make sure you pay attention to my newsletter. I am going to try to keep you up to date on some of that. Go to adaptivecrafting.com and sign up to be on my newsletter list. But we are going to be creating, I'm trying to remember what this paper is for. Maybe that's the excess. I don't know. I'll set it aside just because. We are going to be creating the twist and pop mechanism. And first thing you do is create the mechanism itself. This will be going on the inside of our card. We have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I've cut 1/4 of an inch off one end to make it 8.5 by 10 3/4. And then I'm going to pull my paper trimmer over here because we're going to be doing some scoring. I'm going to move the cutting blade out of the way. On the short side, we are going to score it at 2 1/4. Four 1/4, and 6 1/4, which means I'll have to extend that ruler so I can see the 6 1/4. And then, oh wait, that was silly. That was on, I did this wrong. And this is the only big piece of paper I have in here, I think. Yep, that one's shorter. Give me a second, I'll get another piece of paper. Because this is the short side, this is the long side. I will be right back. am back, and so now you get to watch the entire process, including the trimming. So now we're going to trim 1/4 of an inch off the paper, off the long side, to make it 8.5 by 10 3/4. Then we are going to score the short side at 2 1/4, four 1/4, and 6 1/4, and the long side at 3 7/8, five 3/8, and 6 7/8. Okay, we'll see if I did it correctly this time. Now we are going to trim off the 4 corners of the mechanism. Going to do it, be very careful as you do this. And these are perfect sizes to save, to need for sentiments, frames, for other cards, so don't throw them away. You're going to score on all 4 corners, cut all 4 corners out. My cutting blade decided it was going to pop out of my there we go. And then the last corner over here. didn't make that score line quite as deep, so it's a little harder to see. There we go. All right, now we're going to do something interesting here. We are taking this piece right here, and we are folding it from about the center and make sure that it lines up, and we're going to burnish it, score it right there. Make sure it goes through the center, and then you want to do the same thing the other direction. That's really pretty close. And then trying to fold this in to make look a bit like a house. And so you just very gently try to squish that in. Until it folds into the shape of a house. I have a little bit of a tear there, but I think it's still going to work just fine. All right, and there we have our mechanism. Now, let's set that aside because we're going to work on the strip that will pop up. And this is a 3 by 11, and it's a piece of Mango Melody cardstock. And we are going to score it at, put out my extended ruler, 2 3/4. Oops, move that up there so we don't cut it. We want to score it 5 1/2. And 8 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to set my trimmer aside, and we're going to fold this. Going to mountain fold, valley fold, mountain fold. So you have what looks like an M or a W, however you see it. Okay, this is what we're using for our thing right here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and create some pattern paper on the inside of this, which will be the inside of our card. And I want the patterned paper to be raining this way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it right here like this. I want a little bit of the white to show around it. And I'm going to mark it. I was going to mark it with a pencil. I forgot to get a pencil out of my bag. So let's see if I can find one. Nope, no pencils. I just have pens. So we're just going to mark it with the pen because we're cutting it off anyway. Okay. And then I'm going to use the trimmer because that will get me straighter edges. Let's see if this size actually fits in here the way I want it to. Yes, pretty much. And so I'm going to use it on this one. And mark my edges and then trim those. Oops, there I drew on my paper. Don't draw on your paper. And use a pencil, so if you do, you can erase it. Don't be like me. Okay. I'm going to line that up just like that. And just like this. And then we're going to see if this also fits. Okay, we know that one fits. And my little line will be covered. And that one kind of fits. So I need to trim from here. Okay. About there. All right, let's see if this fits now. much better. Let's go ahead and glue in my designer series paper while I still remember what goes where. Now, we're going to do some stamping. I'm going to get out my pop-up strip and make sure that my little mats are the right direction. And then I'm going to pull them down. Okay. And get ready to do some stamping. I will be stamping using Tuxedo Black Memento ink with all the little cute characters in this stamp set, and I hope they fit, and a sentiment. First, I'm going to stamp my fox. I will not be adding colors to these. I may not be adding color at all, but I definitely will not be during filming. All right, there we have the fox. And next, I want the bunny. Next, I'm choosing the sentiment, Rainy Days Are Better With You. And I'm going to put some flowers at the bottom of that little mat. And finally, the turtle. that, I am going to adhere my little stamped mats to my pop and twist, the pop-up part. Now it's time to adhere this pop-up part to our mechanism. And this is how you do that. You lay it out just like this. Make sure that I put on these too soon because you want to make sure that it's lined up with your score mark, but I can no longer see that. So we'll just pretend it is. I also want it up just a little bit because it needs to be covering the mechanism on both sides. Now, you will take your square on the right side and you add glue only to the top of that white part underneath, and then you lay that back on there and glue it. And then you go over to the left side, do the same thing, fold that back, but this time you only add glue to the bottom half. And then you glue it. Then you're going to have a mechanism that pops. Okay? Twist and pop, and it will close in there. There you have it, and then it will pop out when the card is opened. Now, let's get the card itself taken care of. All right. Putting on the 4x5 1/4 designer series paper on the front of our card. And our strip of 2x5 1/4 strip of raindrop DSP right along there. And then I have my 2 circles. And I'm going to want to use dimensionals, I believe, on at least part of these. Okay. think I'm just going to glue down my fun little animal dancing in the rain. And then using my dimensionals, put "Oh Happy Day." And there we have the front. Now, to adhere the inside, I'm going to close this up. Make sure that it's setting fairly well with a border around the edges. And then we're going to add glue to this. Make sure that it's sitting pretty good. And then close it and hold it. And when that feels stuck, we're going to glue the other side. Alright, here is our card. Oh Happy Day. And then you open it up. Boom, there they are. Your cute little characters with the "Rainy Days Are Better With You" sentiment. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to see what kind of twist and pop cards you all make. And I will see you back here next Thursday at 2 o'clock for our first featured card of April using the Willow Tree stamp set. See you then.